Hey everyone, Amascut here, and today we're doing a bit of a different style of podcast. We're going to be talking about the updates that we most hope to see in 2018. I am joined by Crondis.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Omae wa mo shinderu.
Oh god, we've been taken over. Uh,
I am
Walter
almost
in the
definitely
chat.
late on that meme.
Oh, for sure. We've got Walter in the chat, and finally deciding that he's alive again, Captain Lime.
Hello, I'm a ghost. I'm a ghost.
Ooh,
We resurrected him from the grave.
Yeah, but
Just for this.
He's back just for this. Maybe for other things, but definitely just for this. And
Yeah, I'd love to do other things too.
yeah, we spent a day compiling a list of 10 things that we're really looking forward to and hoping that will come out in 2018, but have not been confirmed. These are things that Jagex has not said they're making. Keep that in mind. We also have another 5 that are honorable mentions as if we're doing a top 10 list, but we're going to have a lot more round table freeform discussion than the top 10 lists like the best and worst that we just put out. So go watch those. Thanks. Bye.
And for the record, I am firmly on the camp that mining and smithing is not released until it is not confirmed until it's been released for a week. So
I say 2 weeks, to be honest.
yeah, in all honesty.
I mean,
But
we
it's
do
not on
know
this
how
list.
we do know how that summoning rework went.
yeah, it got reverted, 2 weeks in?
Yep. Although to be
Damn.
fair, it was like actually crap. So
Yeah, I didn't mind it so much, but I understood why people were mad at it. But moving on to actually important topic. We're going to be talking, like I said, about the 10 things that we really hope to see in 2018 that I think would really help the game out. So at number 10, we put down.
just a quick note.
Oh,
these are listed in order of size, not importance. So just keep that in mind.
So this is kind of like a scale thing. So as we go down the list will get, or the items we're discussing will get bigger. So yeah, that's a very important distinction. Thanks for reminding me about that. So at number 10, we put a completionist cape rework. Blah, I can't speak today. This is why I do like 10 takes on my top 10 videos. And also a Reaper requirements rework at the same time.
Yeah, this is needed really badly.
Yeah, I've heard numerous Jagex staff talking about this. As of late, especially, Mudpie mentioned it when he was talking about the Hostilius boss that he plans to make for this year, and how they're thinking about removing the Reaper requirements from the completionist cape, so that they can make harder and harder bosses, and then also reworking the completionist cape entirely, so that it's not all about just being the be all end all cape, and that they can actually make more interesting cape slot items.
Yeah, this is one of those updates where it's like the game needs it more than I guess we want it.
Yeah, and I personally would very much like it, as somebody who has worked on and is now working on again a completionist cape. I think an update like this would definitely be appreciated. And it's not confirmed, but it's one that I really do hope and kind of think we will hear confirmation about at some point in the future.
I mean, it's just helpful for people like Walter, who just aren't able to do the bosses or keep up, or like me, who doesn't care really about bosses.
Or like me, who just gets really bored grinding out 120 Slayer. Even though I'd still have to grind out 120 Slayer after a rework, but don't worry about that.
Honestly, I just want them to do something about the stupid comper mentality. Because I am so sick of seeing, no, don't add that to comp, I don't want to lose it.
Yeah, because if we make the cape no longer, best in slot, end all, be all cape, then we can actually add meaningful things to the completionist cape without people whining.
I mean,
then it's a cosmetic thing, and everybody complains about that.
Here's my thing: it's
better.
People who are whining about wanting to keep their completionist cape are very obviously not the ones that need it, because the cape is the completionist cape. If you are not a completionist, then what are you doing?
Complaining, actually.
Yeah.
I believe that's the answer.
It's the completionist cape.
Completionist cape, yeah.
Exactly.
That is kind of the Reddit meme. And again, we're not saying this as people who don't have experience with this stuff. I have owned a completionist cape and only don't have one because I don't play as much as I used to. Walter has one. Like, half of the people in this cast are experienced enough to have owned or own these capes, and we're both kind of sitting here advocating for some
I am
changes.
also like just a couple 120s and a few bosses off of some comp, so it's like,
yeah,
you know, it's not like I just don't want a 120 Slayer is really what it is.
Yep, and Lime's a noob.
Yeah, that's my qualification. I'm just a noob.
Yep, but I really do think that some sort of semblance of a rework to the completionist cape would do a lot of good things to the game, add a lot of healthy requirements to what the completionist aspect of things are. I just think it's very needed. And I hope that Jagex is willing to finally consider going through with it. Anything else to say with this one?
Did you want to hit on the Reaper thing any?
I did briefly just at the start, in that Reaper would not be a requirement for a completionist cape, so that, as ModPie said, they'd be able to push bosses into far harder territory than they do now.
I mean, here's my thing, though. I still don't get that. Because, again, it's the completionist cape. At the very least, you should have
coming from.
At the very least, you should have been able to do a boss once.
Yeah, I do understand where he's coming from, though. You know, a lot of people have trouble with some of the bosses. Sometimes the boss mechanics are just too much for people, and I suppose it kind of goes against the grain of changing completionist over to cosmetic. And that if they can't change it over, or they can't do some semblance of a rework to it to, you know, get players away from that mentality of, oh, you're robbing me of what I need for PVM, then, you know, then it's not that big of a deal that all these endgame bosses are on there.
I mean, I would prefer the completionist cape just being a pure cosmetic, because then that just ends the whole crap.
Well, see, that would be the thing. I would like it for just be the cosmetic and keep the same stats as the max cape.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that would have been the best thing to go about it with.
No, I'm not even talking about that. Like, maybe create a new cape that's, like, high-end cape, but the completionist cape, as in you completed everything, that's a pure, like, override level requirement. Cosmetic.
Well, another thing is, I've never really thought there needed to be a distinction between completionist and trimmed.
Yeah,
the only reason that there is a distinction is because
on its own.
Well, yeah, it's because trimmed adds like really arbitrary requirements that make no actual sense. So
overall, I would just say the requirement set for anything related to completionist right now is in serious need of some looking at. There's a lot of very arbitrary things on there, and there's a lot of things that are excluded for reasons unknown. So yeah, that's our number 10. That's our smallest thing. Anything else to add? Or are we good to move on to number 9?
That'll take forever.
Yeah. All right. So number 9, we put Elemental Workshop 5.
This is gonna piss some people off.
Oh no, puzzles! But seriously, come on.
But seriously, if you don't want puzzles, you're a whiny bitch. Sorry.
Pretty much, yeah.
But the reason we put Elemental Workshop at number 9 is because these quests essentially don't have much of a translation budget. Like, you know, most quests have a fair share of dialogue, a fair share of, you know, things to translate.
Well, that's not necessarily true, because there is that like little blurb.
Yeah. So Elemental Workshop 5 contains considerably less dialogue and text than any other type of quest in the game.
Yeah, it generally contains 1 or 2 books and maybe a couple of directions for a puzzle. Yeah. And that's about all they have to translate for it.
So overall, we kind of settled that the localization budget would probably be quite low for this, and it could help speed a quest like this along in development.
I also think translation is a waste of time 99% of the time, but that's besides the point.
Hush, Crondis.
Yeah, you're probably right. But in all seriousness, as somebody who just speaks English, I'm sure there's plenty of players that we just don't hear from that don't speak English because we don't speak the language that they speak, and they appreciate the localization.
That's probably true.
But another in the spirit of unfinished business, this is a quest that needs to be made.
When was 4 out?
2013, I think.
So for 4 years, that's about the length that a sequel comes at. Well, actually, it's going to be 5 years.
No, it was 2011. What? Oh.
Yeah, no,
What?
it's because 2010 was the year of the threes. So
Yeah. Oh
Really?
my god. That was 2011?
yeah, this is way overdue.
That was 7 years ago?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, yeah, we're really
2011 was
overdue.
7 years ago?
Yeah, we're old.
Yeah.
Ugh.
My
Ooh,
god.
that's hurting my head a little bit. Sorry, that was a discovery. But yeah, in the spirit of unfinished business, this is one of the few quest series that is still remaining that has not been confirmed for next year. Another one is further up on our list. And Elemental Workshop 4 was a really good quest. Like, let's be real here. It expanded the lore of the series nicely. The puzzle was not mind-crushingly obnoxious like 3.
Puzzles.
And 3 isn't...
Puzzles.
Yeah, 2. We had 2 puzzles. And 3 wasn't that bad either, because they did a really good job recently. Well, not recently, but at some point in time not long ago.
Apparently,
where
we
they,
have no
updated
sense of
the
time
interface.
anymore.
Yeah, I have no sense of time anymore. But they updated the interface for the way you actually do the puzzle in Elemental Workshop 3, and it's a lot more acceptable now.
And here's the thing, 3 was not that bad. People way overreacted to that puzzle, just because the lever system was, like, really bad.
And I mean, it was a tough quest. That was a challenging puzzle.
I mean, it was a challenging puzzle, but it was in no way the impossible, oh my god, I'm freaking out kind of thing that people were doing.
Yeah, it has that reputation, and it's kind of almost a joke at this point now.
And it kind of just ruins the chances of us getting EW5.
Because the general populace is like, oh, these quests are cancer.
Which is
really,
weird,
like,
because
honestly, they're not that bad.
Because Elemental Workshop 4 was a really good quest. Both of the puzzles in there were easy and
it was
like,
an excellent
really
balance
innovative.
of puzzle. The first puzzle in 4 was really fun and clever. I didn't have any trouble with it. And the second one was a really interesting, like, programming approach to a puzzle. And
yeah,
that was great. So I really do want to see 5, especially because Astral and Nature would be the 2 runes for this, and I think those are just ripe for really interesting puzzles.
Yeah, Avernic and I came up with the a constellation and then biodome puzzle.
I was just about to mention those. I love that idea. Using this idea of, like, constellations observatory type of thing for the first, and then moving to a biodome below it for nature, I think that would be absolutely top tier.
And the biodome...
really excited to see that.
Yeah, I was really excited because the biodome, it's like you set up your own food chain in order to, with summoning creatures, in order to, like, get the nature magic flowing.
Basically, Jagex, if you're looking for ideas for puzzles for Elemental Workshop 5, hit them up. But, yeah.
Yes, please.
It's a quest that we'd really, really like to see. I think it fits the spirit of unfinished business, and we think that, hopefully anyway, it would be not too challenging to create for Jagex overall. And
it has,
it's fairly small in location, and it's fairly small in scale.
And it has, like, this really unique feel of just, like, an occult feel. Not necessarily creepy, but, like, delving into the past.
They're also the only quests in the game that nobody gives you.
Yeah, you actually have to go out and find the book.
You start the quest yourself. Like, that's it. You find the book and you're like, oh, I'm going to go investigate. I think that's very unique.
Whoa, wait, that's not true. A Clockwork Syringe, you start the quest yourself. By opening your Xbox. The box that was delivered to your POH.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
And it has a big X on it, so it's an Xbox.
Hey, technically, you start the quest with Posty Pete. Technically-ish. Because he hands you a note, and that's the interface to start the quest. You don't seek the the quest out. It gets sent to you. So I would argue that one. But like this, Elemental Workshop's the only quest in the game that by no outside influence you yourself start. How's that?
Okay, you have you have outsnooted me, sir.
Brilliant. All right. Is that all for EW5 that we've got?
Think so.
All right. Number 8. We blanket called this a graphical rework, and we've got Sears Village and Karamja on the list here.
And also Camelot, I think, fits in there.
Oh yeah, well, Camelot's part of Sears Village for this. Yeah. But these were 2 graphical updates that were mentioned to have started development at some point and got put on hold, and we are really, really hoping to see them next year.
According to mod AOB, Sears Village is being done slowly in tap time.
Yep.
That it's just kind of in low priority mode right now.
Yeah.
So
and we're hoping that somebody's willing to bump that up a little bit because it looked gorgeous.
Although I'm curious for y'all, which one would you rather more, Sears Village or Karamja?
Sears Village.
Karamja.
I would rather Karamja.
Now,
but, I mean,
my reasoning here is because they've slowly been working their way westerly, and right now you have this really gorgeous set, Falador through to Berthorpe Taverley over into Catherby and White Wolf Mountain, and then literally the ground textures change as you're walking, and you run into Sears Village.
I mean, here's the thing, though. Sears Village itself looks fine. Yeah, the transition is weird, but Karamja is, like, insultingly ugly.
Yes, but Karamja's at least consistently ugly.
I would argue against that because of Tazar Volcano.
I mean, it's not that great looking either. Unless you mean the inside.
I mean, like the big crowning.
Yeah, they updated the outside of it.
Yeah, I know. Still not all that incredible, though.
Oh, I see.
For the most part. Yeah, okay. But for the most part, Karamja at least has a fairly consistent look to it. So it's not like there's parts of it that like especially stick out like a sore thumb in terms of being out of place. With Sears Village, they've been progressing their way west, and so I feel like continuing that is pretty important here because it would help things at least look a little better the more players go out and explore.
But if the Sears Village graphical rework came out with Elemental Workshop 5, that would be really awesome.
Hey,
that would actually be sick.
Connections.
Yeah, hey, remember when they used to do that?
Yeah, I
Bundle
know.
A graphical rework with a quest.
I mean, to be
Pepperidge
fair,
Farm remembers.
To be fair, they used to have graphical reworks as a weekly update, and then apparently people complained that wasn't real content, which kind of pisses me off.
Because it was, and I also really liked it when they'd find a way to bundle like an event or a quest, like with Alcarid, Wizard's Tower, Falador, that sort of thing. That was really great. I'd love to see that. Oh, and Port Sarim. I'd really love to see that stuff come back.
Yeah. And technically, actually, Lumbridge.
Fair.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
I suppose. Yeah.
I mean, first they blew it up, but
they blew it up. They left it like that for a while, and then changed some stuff during the event, and then finally, at last, we have a lovely, flowery little crater. So yeah, no, strong point there. But this one's still fairly low down on the list because it seems like these have been mostly like 1 or 2 mod projects. And while they're big in scales, it requires environment artist work, which is not easy. These are definitely not top priority for the game.
Yeah.
And while content quality has been fluctuating, environment artists have always been on point.
In fact, I would say that this year has been the best in RuneScape graphics ever. Like, seriously, go to the Lost Grove and tell me that isn't some damn gorgeous stuff.
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
Like, Menaphos?
I mean, Menaphos looks amazing. Woo! That's one of the few amazing things about it.
It's a really beautiful location. So, for the stuff we did get this year, it was gorgeous. Even Shattered Worlds. I do not like Shattered Worlds, but that shit is pretty. So, good job.
Kudos to them.
Yeah. So we'd like to see more of that. At number 7, we have more of our kind of personal wish list here. I mean, and that's what this list is. And this one's a lot less likely, per se, than the rest of these. Not that any of these are necessarily, like, likely, But this is the one that's really just more us really hoping that they're willing to do this. And that's updates to the recently released Menaphos quests.
Because they suck.
So bad.
They just need to be fixed.
Three of the 4 suck, and the last one needs some fluff.
Yeah, even the one that doesn't totally suck still needs work. And we would really, really love to see these improved, because Menaphos was supposed to be, the showcase of everything RuneScape can do with an expansion, and they've been like slowly patching up some annoying parts of it, but the quests are just they hurt.
Like Jack of Spades, I can see them staying the same,
yeah,
because
you don't
honestly,
it
doesn't need to be a big thing if it's an intro quest, which I still don't think they needed, but that's besides the point.
It's not good, but it's not awful.
I also despise the fact that it's Owen, or not Owen, Ozan.
Ozan?
Yeah. Ozan.
Yeah. And Crocodile Tears is the best of the bunch, but it's still pretty weak. It's good, but it has problems. It has story issues. Agility pyramid.
It needs a fair bit of polish.
Yeah.
And then Our Man in the North and Fight Club are piss poor excuses for quests. Like, being frank here.
Like, Our Man in the North, I think, had the best concept for a story.
Oh, yeah.
But the
story side of it...
It felt like the skeleton of a quest.
The gameplay made me want to rip my hair out. Not because it was hard, but because it was just, hey, remember that thing you did in the intro quests to the Desert series? We're going to do that again, but there's a teleporting guy there now. Why?
It was just flawed in a lot of ways, and I did like the concept, and I did like the lore, but the lore needs some serious fleshing out.
Yep, Het at the end was the biggest waste of a character development moment I've ever seen.
It also made no sense.
Yep, the boss fight was super creative, but so absurdly easy, and I would love to see that expanded into something interesting. They rushed through story, like...
And then
Crocodile Tears ended, and then they're like,
oh
shit, we've only got 2 quests left, and we've got 7 quests worth of content to cover.
Fight Club was, actually insulting with how bad
Fight Club was a boss fight with some dialogue before it.
Fight Club was, oh, hey, do you remember Jack of Spades? Yeah, you're going to do that twice, and then fight the Pharaoh, and that's it.
Yeah. And the Pharaoh fight didn't, totally suck.
It wasn't bad. I thought it was
a fine fight, but... A quest is not just a boss fight. I do boss fights for that.
I guess I was setting myself up for disappointment the entire time with the Golden Compendium, but I was really disappointed.
Yeah, I was too.
I mean, here's the thing. When they tell us that, hey guys, we're going to give you 4 desert quests, this is not what I expect.
You gave me a quest and a half worth of content here.
A quest and a half worth of content, and the rest of the content was grinding out the fucking tombs to get it.
Yeah. The other big thing that really peeved me was that we had all of this setup into what Amascut was doing in Menaphos, and our player doesn't interact with her. At all. Ever.
Yeah.
It was just sad. The
stuff with the Soul Obelisk was or not Soul Obelisk, the Soul Altar. It's what?
Do No Evil was a requirement for the last couple quests, and it doesn't build off of it at all. Our character makes no acknowledgement that we know of what Amascut's done. We make no acknowledgement of Meccan beyond one tiny thing Het says. There was so much room.
I mean, it felt like they
didn't take it.
It felt like they put Do No Evil as a requirement just to make a time placement.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Amascut did not feel like the villain, but the Pharaoh also didn't feel like the villain. Because all of these things were happening without us, and then we didn't even really react to them. So,
which is my exact problem with, help me out here, what's the name of the quest?
Which one?
It was the Majrak quest with Zeros and Zamorak.
Children of Ma.
Children of Ma?
Children of Ma. That was my exact problem with Children of Ma.
Where they just react. See, I didn't have as big of a problem with Children of Ma because, for one, it actually had content in it. And for two, it actually had story in it. And we were at least present for the events. With these desert quests, you literally just at the end of each quest saw a cutscene of Amascut that had no impact on anything that was happening to you.
scene of Amascut and scene of the Pharaoh after every single one.
Well, yeah, yeah.
And it's like, why are we seeing
it wasn't like in Children of Ma, where just because we weren't the driver for the plot, we were at least there, and we at least did something.
Also,
in these quests, we literally just see a cutscene as to what everybody else is doing, that our character doesn't know, that our character doesn't do anything with.
It also felt like they kept changing the direction of what they wanted to do with the Pharaoh, because in one of them, he literally says, "When I become a god," and that was the only time that was ever mentioned.
And then Osmond murders him and becomes the Pharaoh, and then the city doesn't even acknowledge that this happened. Sorry, I'm still really sore about these quests.
Osmond becoming the Pharaoh is the shadiest thing that ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just, like, got sketch underlined on it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's like if I walked into England and proclaimed myself the King of England.
After murdering the Queen.
Exactly.
But,
and then claiming I have some ancient ancestor that was the King of England.
Yeah, of course. But to kind of drive us back on topic a little bit here, the reason we included these really is just these quests were incredibly weak and piss poor, and we think that at least a little bit of time in 2018 should be spent making sure that the fucking expansions quests are of playable quality and worth grinding for.
And you know what else honestly angers me about this? Is that on Twitter we've heard now that the reason that these quests were like this was because it worked out with the Ark.
Yeah.
The Ark was mini quests!
And the mini quests were fucking great. Mostly.
The first 4 were.
And Eye for an Eye was really good. And I kind of like where they went with 2. I just felt like they weren't as good as 1.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
But the fact that they thought they could copy and paste this format from the Ark and actually make them full quests and not expect backlash. Like, what?
Walter made a good point a little bit earlier, though, is Nomad's Requiem is a boss fight quest, except it actually has a good series of puzzles before it, and quality story.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the one that we expect least to happen in 2018, but the one that we would adore somebody taking on.
I think it might be the one we want the most.
Yeah.
I mean, this was supposed to be
I'm the desert fanatic. Crondis is a desert fanatic. Lime is a desert fanatic. We want our desert to be good, and I think it deserves some love.
Yes, I agree.
You guys ready to move on to the next one? We spent a lot of time on this one.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. At number 6, we put the
There's
Gnome Finale.
Time like the present.
Yeah, there's Gnome time like the present. Yeah. Last Gnome Quest. Last time we got a Gnome Quest was that also 2011?
That was Prisoner of Glowfree, which I believe was 2011. Yes.
I believe you're right. I think I'm right. I feel like that was the same year. Let me see here. But
I think it was 2010.
It was, drum roll please, February 2011.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's also been 7 years since we've received an entry in the Gnome series. And with the Pirate Finale, Pieces of Hate, coming out in the next couple of months, we're really quite hoping that we'll see a nice bow placed onto the Gnome series as well in 2018.
Yeah, I think this kind of fits in nicely with the unfinished business model, where they're trying to, tie up all the old things that they never got around to. So,
especially since that, we just wrapped a major arc in the 6th Age. I think it's time to make sure that there aren't a bunch of loose, dangly plot threads in the 5th Age left, since they didn't do that before they started the 6th Age.
And another thing to do with Gnome Finale is make it good.
Please make it good.
Because
and I thought Path of Gluffery was
Path was amazing. Prisoner
didn't suck. It moved the story forward very nicely, but it was the most hand-holdy quest. Oh,
I felt like it took any sense of threat that series had and threw it out the window.
Yeah, just because it held your hand the whole time, it didn't let you get into danger, and it didn't make you feel like you were in any danger.
And to be honest, this isn't the most exciting quest series. Like,
there's a reason we haven't gotten an entry for it in a while, and it's just because it's very hard to push the story forward when it's been moved in a couple different directions. Additionally, though, I have some mild excitement for the series because I think the end of Prisoner set up a lot of really interesting things that a finale could cover well.
And what's really weird about the Gnome series is that there's like 3 different plot threads going on with it that all kind of need to tie in together.
Well,
Because
luckily
you have the
the Anima
Glow-free.
Mundi stuff is done.
Well, yeah, but you
with
have the
Sarah.
Glow-free plot thread from
Yeah.
that series. You have the Monkey Madness stuff that never went anywhere. Like, all of these different threads need to come together and be tied up and not be crap.
Honestly, I don't mind that gnomes are involved in 2 different storylines.
I don't either, but it's the fact that Glow specifically references Arpasandra and taking down humans.
Yes.
So this has to come together.
So there were some ties there, but I don't necessarily need them to come together. I am fine with, since we've already beaten Glove, that we can just move on, deal with the threat of Glock now, and figure out what happened to Gluffery, and let the Monkey series hang out with Marimbo.
I still remain adamant that Glock is Glow-free, just disguised.
I mean, I would die laughing if that was the case, but boy, that would be an annoying end to Prisoner if it was literally just, oh, there's a new guy who's taken over. You would know nothing about him.
Well, it's because it doesn't make any sense of what Glock is. He just...
I'm cool with it.
He just randomly showed up after Glow-free disappeared, and he looks exactly the same as him.
From what we know, he took over. He's banned all use of Gluffery's name. I think that's actually an interesting concept, because it means that for a finale, we could potentially be hunting down an exiled Gluffery and have to work with what we believed was the villain of the series to stop Glock. I'm cool with that.
That seems like more of a 2-quest thing, though.
It does, but they've said the next one's the finale, so I'm gonna roll with it.
I mean, they could always just not make it the finale.
Good point. They did that with vampires.
Exactly. Like, they could just say, all right, well, it just doesn't work with the story, and that would be good.
But I would like another entry in the Gnome series, and we wrote Gnome Finale because, from what we understand, the next one's supposed to be the end.
Well, to be fair, we only know that because of that original poll between dwarfs, pirates, and gnomes.
Good point, good point.
Where it was, they said, okay, we're gonna make a finale. Which one do you want?
Yeah.
There's nothing that dictates that the next one has to be the finale, but for all intents and purposes, that's what we are going with.
They did do that poll like 7 million years ago.
Yeah, that is true.
It certainly feels like that long since Birthright.
Yeah, because it was 2011 where Melia said there are plans to complete the storyline in the future. Yeah. So, yeah, no, good point. But it's been a long time since they've talked about it.
Let's see, Birthright came out in 2013, October. So I think the poll probably happened a little bit earlier than that. Probably
it was a 2012 poll.
Was it?
I think so.
Yep. Because it took until 2013 for them to finally put out the post-quest stuff for Birthright of the Dwarves.
Yeah.
But yeah, gnomes.
Yeah, I think that's it with gnomes.
Number 5,
Gnomes.
Bik Quest.
Just because.
I mean, it was announced.
This was something that was announced at RuneFest 2015? No, 16.
That seems right.
16, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
I think it was 16. And it was because it was supposed to happen this year, and it never did. We got a concept art for it that showed Zeros and Bik, and then we just never got anything.
You guys you didn't get my pun.
Because?
Yep.
Yeah, we've got no more time for that.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to get too detailed about this because we really know nothing about it other than it has to do with Intrana, and that's about it.
And that's kind of vague, just that we know that she's kind of there.
I mean, it would kind of concern Intrana if it just started rising up out of the sea and all the monks fell off.
I mean, I think that would be hilarious, but I know a couple players that might not like their Ceratominus getting hurt.
Wreck them all. Wait, no. Wait.
I mean, I'm pretty sure those monks they're fine. They're just fine. It's the glass blowing capital of the world. You can't destroy that.
Not wrong. But yeah, basically this would just be another Elder God quest, and stuff happens, and that's it.
Yeah.
I would really like to see this because I have enjoyed Elder God content in the past, even if I thought Slisky's endgame was just awful. And yeah.
This was one of the quests that showed up on that original Elder Gods poll. The one that gave us Heart of Stone.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Which I wish we would have gotten anything other than Heart of Stone.
I actually had no problem with Heart of Stone.
I really dislike that quest.
I really liked that quest.
My side wins.
Just
yes, but Walter agrees with me on Heart of Stone. So
I had
obviously I'm right.
a few small problems with what was it? A few small problems with the fact that it was mostly lore recap, and that was it though. That was the only thing I didn't really like. I enjoyed the story. I thought Xenia
the bouncy ball puzzle
dying was cool.
The laggy bouncy ball puzzle of death.
I don't know what problems you guys had with that. That was fine.
It did not, like, you would see the ball on the screen like in one point, and then they would just jump. And
yeah,
that was it.
I did not have that problem.
You had to have some really good FPS to get that puzzle to work.
I had
no problem at the time. I did not.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would do a lot as well, just having problems with the puzzle specifically. But yeah, I didn't end up having any problems with it at all. So yeah.
Yep, I think that's it though.
Yeah, we don't know really what to talk about with this one, just because there's not a lot you can say. But we do hope to see this one in 2018.
We've just got so little information on it.
Yeah. This is one that I would really hope to see more towards the end of the year, once we've wrapped some more unfinished business content. But I think it would be a good way to end the year and kind of propel us into 2019 kind of content.
Yeah.
But yeah, at number 4, we have The Ambassador.
Man, I really wish this didn't get scrapped for so long.
And to be honest,
not scrapped, just moved out the way.
To be honest, for me, this is more of just Zhao Tech content in general, because...
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not even necessarily just straight desperate for it because, ooh, Zhao Tech. I'm excited for this because the boss concept art was gorgeous.
That's true. That too.
Like, beautiful, beautiful art.
And I think they've been doing really good lately with giving bosses lore, so...
Yeah.
I mean, I'm mostly excited for Zhao Tech stuff because of the suggestion that the Crassians, horrors, and all of those are all related.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, I think coming after Pieces of Hate kind of serves it well. So
yeah, I would be very excited about that.
It was actually like the one boss I was looking forward to, and then it
got canceled or delayed.
All because
we also had a few very small ideas about what its mechanics could be from that concept art. There was stuff that was mentioned about how he had like a big energy sphere that he could bounce around.
And like he opens his mouth.
Fire out an energy spheres out by a stream towards his opponents. The ambassador's mouth is located in the center of his body. When open, the mouth leads to the space between the stars.
Yeah, he's got like a stomach mouth that's a portal, which is just
like, oh.
That's like
it's haunting looking.
Lovecraftian as hell.
Very Lovecraftian. And it looks like a very creepy like combination between a monk and an anglerfish, along with some like mind flayer-esque face work there, and it's just a boss that I would really, really love to see, and I think it would just be a really cool experience.
Yeah.
It appears like they wanted it to be set underwater as well, and I'm all for that.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, so this is a fight that I really hope that we may eventually get. I know that it became Solak, but it's just so much cooler than Solak. Sorry. And we haven't even seen like Solak in action or anything, but
like, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
This
the idea of the Lost Grove looks amazing, and the idea of a Guardian of Gothic going crazy is cool and all. But I wish the graphics developer didn't just want to make a tree boss.
Yeah, like I'm on board with Solak. I think the lore looks really cool. I think the boss looks really cool, but oh my gosh, the ambassador just kind of hits a really nice sweet spot with me, and it's a concept that I hope Jagex continues to consider.
Yeah.
At number 3, we have another combination one, Death of Chivalry 2, and the Black Knight's Fortress Tale that Mod Stu recently tweeted about.
That's super exciting for me because, I mean, the Death of Chivalry is possibly one of my favorite quests in the game.
It is definitely one of the best.
Like, it's just
amazing introductory quest.
It's so solid. Like, and I mean, the fact that it had 6 months of development time really shows. It's just such a great quest. And I feel like that is a storyline that deserves having a sequel. And, you know, Saradomin is actually one of the best written characters in the game. The only one that didn't, like, flip-flop in the middle. So, the only one of the gods that didn't flip-flop in the middle.
Yeah, very true. So, yeah, it's a quest that we've been really excited about for a long time, especially with the introduction of the Renmark lore that we got from Runefest and later Memorial to Gothics. I would very, very much like to see what happens here with the Centaurs and Saradomin's quest to revive them.
And of course, Sir Owen.
Of course, yes, Sir Owen, Zombie Owen.
Not quite yet.
Can he die yet?
Zombie-ish Owen.
He's getting there. Look, we'll just cut him in half and then make the other half out of Witchwood.
I'll bite your legs off.
50% Owen?
50% Owen.
Just attach him to Luke, it's fine. But no,
Wait. Which half of Luke? The wood half or like the zombie half?
Zombie half.
Definitely the wood half.
You know what? I mean, we could make 2 people. Like, we've got Owen, cut him in half, put half of him on the human part of Luke, and half of him on the wood part of Luke.
Wait. Which side of Owen is going zombie? Is it the other side of zombie Luke?
Yeah. Why would you have... I mean, unless you want, like, half of his face facing the opposite way, like...
Alright, so we've got 50% Owen and 100% Luke?
Yeah, sure.
This is getting really complicated.
This is off topic.
I mean, it's great.
All right, reining things back in here, though. This is definitely a quest that we really have been hoping to see for a while. Players seem pretty passionate about it as well, as Death of Chivalry is pretty well liked. Probably one of the best, really, 6th-age quests that we've had.
At the very least, it's the best of the original, like, signature hero quests.
Yeah, definitely. But additionally, the other thing we mentioned on here, Mod Stu recently tweeted out a design doc he made a while ago about a Black Knight's Fortress Tale. After Avernic wrote a concept document for a way to kind of wrap up some stuff with the Black Knight's Fortress. And honestly, it's something we'd really like to see. We bundled it in here with the Death of Chivalry 2 because, for one, it's pretty small. It's definitely not confirmed in any way, shape, or form, and it's not really something Jagex has discussed. But it is something that we think would be really cool, and we hope that it's considered at some point. And, yeah.
I think it's time for number 2.
This one is another bunch of them, but we wrote another skill rework.
It's mostly just like a class of update.
Yeah. We don't know how long mining and smithing is going to take.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the asterisk on this one. Is
really hoping
if mining and smithing gets done.
Yeah. We're hoping that there will be time this year to do another skill rework or update of sorts, like major update. Some things that we mentioned was range and mage skill gear, in the same way that mining and smithing is being reworked, and offering access to new skill gear for melee. That being crafting, rune crafting, and fletching being touched up and kind of made a little more consistent. Another option was construction.
God damn,
agility.
that's needed. Although that's going to take ages.
Yeah, construction.
I mean, we had that needed, though. We had that really cool concept, proof of concept of construction a while back.
Well, the proof of concept was just the thing about getting rid of hotspots, wasn't it?
Yeah, which was awesome.
I mean, that was awesome in and of itself. It wouldn't have
fixed the core problems of the skill, but it really would have been a helpful stopgap.
Yeah, I mean, that just doesn't fix the problem, though, that construction is honestly just crap.
But, moving on to construction, moving on to agility, it's a skill that everybody agrees needs a rework, and nobody knows how to make a rework for.
Yeah, we kind of discussed this in the Runefest podcast.
Yeah, it's just like it kind of sucks.
Like it's one of those things where it's like, I can tell you it needs fixing, but I can't tell you how to fix it.
Especially because Jagex refuses to make it combat oriented in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. They still have that concept in the backlog, I guess, of, oh, it makes you do your skilling things faster, but I don't know if that completely fixes it.
And it doesn't really help with training of it either.
I mean, that's true, but how do you fix a problem like agility? You know, like
you fix a problem like agility.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for getting that reference. You know, what do you do with training other than a course?
I don't know, like a montage or something?
I don't know, I just...
I mean, like,
skilling
the Rocky montage?
Agility is going to be, I think, probably one of the hardest reworks for them to do. Just because they're going to have to completely rethink what this skill is.
I mean, there's also fire making, which is like, you make fires.
I mean, here's the thing. Fire making is useless, but it does what it says that it does. It is the fire making skill.
It also does have some use now that you can boost your health with it.
That's true. But, I mean, you do what you say the skill is going to do. Is it makes you build fires.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the most particularly useful thing in the world. It has its niche uses. But, I mean, it does what it says it's going to do. It doesn't advertise itself to be something else.
Yeah.
I don't see how, other than your run energy, agility makes you more agile.
I mean, there was the shortcuts, but...
I'm not going to get into the shortcuts because the shortcuts are honestly just bullshit. With the way that they look, it's like, oh, there's a fence. You need to be 97 agility to jump over this fence. Okay.
So we've got agility. Also on our list is herb lore, which is like making the potions not crap.
Like, the potions are just, hey, we're going to boost your level a little bit, and that's all they do.
Also, you could do a lot of really cool stuff with herb lore. You could. And the last one on our list is PVM drops rework, which is honestly essential to every skill rework.
Yeah, this is pretty much just tied into mining, smithing, crafting, everything. That's, yeah.
Like, you need to have a drops rework with everyone that comes, because otherwise there's no value in it at all.
I mean, here's the thing. We know it is partially coming with mining and smithing, because we know they're taking ore and bars and armor and shit off the drop tables. But that needs to be, like, universal across all skilling items.
That just needs to happen.
Yeah.
Like, in general.
Yeah. Like, people are going to complain about, oh, but my PVM money! Okay, just put either alchable trash, or just straight coins on drop tables, and this fixes the issue. Like, this isn't that hard. Not
even alchables, because that falls into the same problem with the PVM drops table. The things that we're trying to produce with skills have become alcohols, which that's not cool.
No, when they say trash alkables, they mean like, oh, they drop a boot, and this boot is untradeable, but you alk it and you get like 15k.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I also do like the idea of like those, what was it, the stuff that drops in the Sophanem dungeon?
What do you mean?
What is it, corrupted magic logs or something like that?
Do they do that?
Yeah, let me pull it up.
I don't think I've ever gotten that when I've slayed there.
Yeah, corrupted magic logs. I think they just dropped from the Ox. But they are, oh no, also corrupted creatures. But they are essentially magic logs, but they don't yield a product when fletched.
So basically it's protein bars.
Yeah, it's protein bars, but as a drop and as a magic log itself.
I could see that working. I mean, that would be something that would be solely for, like, if you want some spare little, like, skilling XP on the side while doing Slayer or something.
And it works for non-skillers. That just works for them.
Yeah, and then you can also burn it for fire making, and there's just, so like the whole concept is, hey, here's a thing that functions similarly to magic logs, but doesn't intrude on the like, product.
On the skiller side of things.
Yeah.
You're not fishing out of the same pond here.
Yeah, but I think either adding just straight gold or trash alkables is the way to go, honestly, because that stops people from bitching about their Slayer money. And
I mean, it's not as if Slayer's had any risk in years.
Exactly.
Yeah, so stuff like that. I've been a big fan of that idea for a while, so yeah, more of that.
Especially if they're just going to keep giving it 20,000 updates a year.
And it feels like if they finally started doing it with mining and smithing, we can expect we can look forward to maybe seeing something on a larger scale of it next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree there. But let's see.
So
we're going to do a couple honorable mentions first.
Oh, all right.
So we're just going to do them and have like a small tagline with them?
Yeah, kind of. They're things that I don't think we expect to happen in 2018, but we would be fine seeing it.
Yeah. Let's see. The first one was mostly Avernic was the reason this is on this list, but Vampire Slayer Rework. He wrote up a really, really good Vampire Slayer rework and sent it to Stu, and Stu liked it, so I would love to see this in game.
Yeah, Stu seemed really interested in doing it, so...
Vampire Slayer is like, I mean, they did Imp Catcher, they did Demon Slayer a couple times. I mean, it's just next on the list.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one really deserves some good touch-ups. Because right now it's in a really crappy place.
And it's got, like, connections with modern and high-level lore, which they really need to expand on.
Yeah.
And then we had Acheron.
Which is my personal thing.
Penguins.
Sorry?
Penguins.
Penguins, Greminic, Vikings.
Penguins that are not Back to the Freezer penguins. Because those can go die.
I mean, like, my biggest dream about this is that it actually becomes, like, the skilling is dangerous thing. It's wilderness survival in the cold, and it could be really cool.
Not PvP wilderness, but, like, frontier wilderness.
Yeah, like, yes.
PvP wilderness skilling is probably the worst thing they've ever done.
But I mean, if they want to keep going with the skilling is risky but rewarding concept, Acheron.
Just like probably, did we ever publish that design doc we wrote?
Which one?
Nope, we didn't, because expansions got canceled and you never made any maps.
Yeah, we should probably do that at some point. I'll get on it eventually. Basically, we've written up a really nice design doc, like we did with the skull, for anybody that saw that, and maybe eventually we'll do it.
It needs some updating, though, some modernization to make it less outlandish.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Let's see, next up, Raids 2. This is mostly a me one. I put this on here because unfinished business.
This also has an asterisk next to it. Do not make it like Raids 1, where it's just 2 boss encounters. Make it
Please.
a actual fucking raid.
Please look at how other games do raids. And
I mean, like,
because
you don't even have to look at other games. Just look at Dungeoneering. Dungeoneering is basically Raid 0.
I mean,
That's
Dungeoneering
true.
is a better raid system than the actual raids thing we have in game. So,
I mean, Old School has decent raids as well, so...
Also do something with Amascut, because it's actually like a barren wasteland of fuck you.
Yeah. But,
I mean, that's kind of the point. That's a barren wasteland.
A fuck you? No.
Yeah, like, I enjoy the raids content. I would like to see more of this, but I would also just like to see it better implemented. I would like to see better actual raid content. And most importantly, for me anyway, I also want some more Strange Glowing Orb lore that doesn't suddenly tie it into Solak. No offense, Mod Ramen, but the idea of it being the Elemental Gobi was perfect. Please don't change that.
Yeah, I really wouldn't want that to change. I liked the way they were going with that.
With Ollie mentioning that at RuneFest, it seemed absolutely perfect and had me very, very excited to see where the development of that small story went.
I mean, if
I know
the
it's very small scale, but please...
If the tie-in with, like, the elves and Solak is good, okay,
yeah,
like, I'm fine with that, but it's like, you're gonna have to make some really big logical jumps here to get that to work, and I'm very afraid of how that's gonna turn out.
Yeah. And again, not to be down on it, because I don't know what it is, but I would really like to see future development on this, and I think finally wrapping up the Mazcab raid story would be something very, very nice. And kind of putting a nice little capper to Mazcab's story overall, because right now it feels, well, half finished. Another one we put is permanent holiday content. Easter and Halloween last year, that's going to be troublesome, were great. Added some really nice permanent lore that should have been permanent, and we also think that in order to justify dev costs on making stuff for holidays, you might as well develop them with permanence in mind.
Yeah.
You can add, temporary holiday stuff to it, similar to the way that the year that Swept Away came out also had, temporary parts to it. But creating something that can stay in game permanently, I think, is more valuable to the game overall, because permanent content is more valuable down the line than temporary limited content. Especially limited content that never returns.
Just give me a Little Town Demonheim and let me keep it. I think I'd be happy forever.
I was happy to see that one back. That one was fun.
That's probably the best Christmas event they've ever done.
I still strongly stand for the what was it? The Ghosts of Christmas Past, Present, Future one.
That was a really good event. That was a good one too. But I think a Little Town of Demonheim beats it out just a tad for me.
Yep. They're both really good, though.
Just because I think, I understand why they did it, was because that was the year that Dungeoneering came out. But it was if they were going to have to tie it in with Demonheim, god damn it, they did it so fucking well.
Yeah, that was
just a good story.
And the final one is a Shattered Worlds update / Shattered Worlds War. The final honorable
mention, not like the number one.
Yeah. Shattered Worlds update / Shattered Worlds lore. Shattered Worlds got a lot canceled within its development. A whole story, bosses, other objectives, anything to make it interesting and fun.
Anything to make it not shit.
Anything to not make it just like a poke the monster fest, basically. So I would really like to see a wide variety of objectives, world bosses, random events, more side questy stuff, but most importantly, the story. They canned the story from something that is very story-based. I want the Anima Witch. I want the formation of the Abyssal Knights with the Void and the Temple Knights. I want to get some more information here, because I think this is an update that is ripe for expansion and ripe to make fun, but currently isn't there yet. And I think 2018 is the year to do it as well, because unfinished business.
All right, I think that's done with honorable mentions, though.
And our number one, drumroll, is on there because it's big, and it's the skull.
Boo, Avernic, boo.
Give me the skull. As we mentioned, we ourselves, or a number of us here, were involved in the making of a skull design document that you can totally check out in the description if you would like a link to it. I did some truly inspired MS Paint artwork in it, and I'm sure you'll love it.
Oh yes, they were masterpieces.
Masterpieces, one might say.
Exactly.
I basically made maps, and they're not as good as Gentle Tractors, so don't judge me.
Wait, who did the doodle of the ship?
The what?
Like the little diagram of the ship.
I'm 99% sure that was Avernic.
Yeah,
because I had
probably did that.
nothing to do with
It certainly wasn't me.
My favorite is just going down the images and then seeing how out of place that one looks.
Avernic.
It's truly delightful. But yeah, we would love to see the skull in 2018. I know it's not necessarily as unfinished business as things like Fossil Island, but 07 got that very recently, and I think it would be weird to do it so soon. And the skull is next on my big want list, personally.
Yeah, I mean, now that we've gotten Menaphos, unfortunately, and
yeah,
I mean, the skull is just like the next big place that I really want to go to.
Especially because the arc was so good, and the story
was
really propelled us right into it.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, the list goes Acheron, then Menaphos again, and then the skull.
Re-Menaphos.
You gotta have it again.
Yeah, I think I'm really like kind of along the same lines here. Really, my top three kind of wiggling around is Fossil Island, Acheron, and the skull. Arpazandra is something I would like to visit, as well as an underwater city, but I think the skull is the one that most players would be most excited about, because Eastern lands! And it's the skull.
Yep, I put up a video a couple months ago now about the top 10 places we want to see, and Skull was the number one on my list, so...
Yeah.
Go check that out
for good reason. So, yeah, I don't have a ton more to say about this, especially because we've written a whole document about it, and you can totally go check that out. And Jagex employees seem to really like it, because we posted it on Reddit and got some really, really positive responses. But I really do think that it would be incredible for something to come in 2018. Jagex has a history of doing a huge update in the middle to like third quarter of the year as well. And I don't necessarily know if they're going to do that again this year. But if they are, make us the skull, please.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with the skull coming this year is the same reason that it's number one on this list, is that it is a huge project.
Yeah, I mean, the arc was 2 batches, and they were 2 great batches, honestly. I really enjoyed 1. I know people had a lot of problems with it, and I had my share of problems, but batch 2 fixed essentially every complaint I had with the arc.
I mean, the arc is basically the argument for the batch system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prifddinas is much the same.
Yeah, I agree.
I know people complain plenty about batches because Jagex has messed up with batches in the past, but the arc and Prifddinas are 2 of the best updates we've ever had in this game, and they were both batched.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I would really, really love to see the skull this year. I think it would be an amazing summer update, or end-of-year update, or really just update in general. And I wouldn't be against going back to batches, but I also think that just because Menaphos as an expansion failed, I don't think that we should never have expansions again.
Yeah, it's just too knee-jerky of a reaction.
Yeah. I would adore doing an expansion per year rather than doing 4 a year. That's a lot.
And also, you have to realize that the scope of an expansion needs to be taken into account.
Mm-hmm. Like making sure you're not packing too much in, like what happened with Menaphos.
Don't pack 2 expansions into 1 expansion. That just doesn't work.
No. But yeah, I would love to see the skull. Hopefully our viewers agree with us.
Yep.
And again, now that we're at the end, I'm going to remind you this is not in the order of things that we want the most, but this is in order from smallest to largest.
Yeah, we could have a big debate about which one we want the most.
I think that's why we
Quest rework.
That's really the reason we didn't put that list in the order. Is just because I think we could argue for hours about what the order of this list should be.
So we found that, you know, moving from a scale of this is a very small scale update that we would like to this is a massive update that we would like was probably the easiest way to discuss these.
Yeah.
But you know, the skull has plenty of pre-established lore, and we know all the location names and everything. And God, I want to visit it.
It just sounds so awesome.
Yeah. Especially with the setup from the Ark and how fun that was.
Yep.
And don't forget ports.
Ports.
Take me back to port.
Take me back, take me back, take me back to ports. Yeah. Sorry.
Cue the scene of Osborne licking the cardboard water.
Please edit that in. Have nothing animated in this except for that.
Just that is there, just playing in the bottom right.
Or maybe just
the
a still
time.
image of that as the background for the entire podcast.
No, I'm just going to have it at the bottom, just constantly playing throughout the whole thing. Osborne, we will never let you live that one down.
That was beautiful.
So yeah, this is our wish list.
This is our Pipe Dream podcast.
2018.
2018 ahoy! Please don't disappoint. And this is coming off the heels, obviously, of our 10 best and worst of 17. And these are the kind of things that we would really love to see moving into a new year. And again, quick reminder, this is all stuff that has not been confirmed for 2018. None of this stuff has been confirmed, but it's all stuff that's been, like, mentioned.
Yeah, we specifically stayed away from updates that have been confirmed, like skilling off fans. And
or pieces of hate, or mining of smithing rework, or Hostilius boss, or Solak. So if you're wondering why those are on this list, that's why.
I mean, we've already had a few days of 2018, and nothing's really happened, but I wasn't really expecting anything to happen, so I'm not disappointed.
Are you kidding? I was expecting like 6 quests to drop on January 1st at midnight.
Well, I'm sorry. You're going to have to wait another day for that.
All right. I think that's all we've got to say on this topic.
Yep.
Unless I'm incorrect. All right, cool. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching. This has been the Society of Owls discussing what we want to see in 2018 that hasn't been confirmed yet. We have been Amascut. Hi. Crondis. Captain Lime.
And I return to the grave.
And Walter in the chat. We also got some contributions from Avernic in terms of opinions, but he wasn't able to make the cast. So shout out to him as well.
Yep, now we've got to go. We've got to go stab Lime now, so we can put him back in the grave.
Yep. Die, buddy. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give us a like. Talk to us about what you also are looking forward to in 2018. And if you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel. We always appreciate it. And follow the Society of Owls on Twitter at _society. Wait, no, it's just society_of_owls, isn't it? Yeah,
yep.
It's that. Follow that. It'll be on your screen or in the description or something, I'm sure. And that's it. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.